how do you reconcile a show like this where fans don't love it? I know you guys, you said right up front, you hated the idea of this being a 4-way and you didn't like the story and you didn't like Mick coming back. So we all agree it was not a great show. But man, the show itself was a huge financial success. The name WrestleMania carried you. And it would be logical to think, are we going to lose any ground? And we know, well, next year's going to beat it. It's going to be even bigger, even better. Was there any concern that, oh man, we laid an egg, we can't do that again? Or did you feel like the show was good and we're just being this critical in hindsight?
Look, I don't believe that I thought the show was good in the moment. And sometimes you can look at things and go, oh man, I'm not buying this. But the audience does. And the
Right.
audience votes with their dollars. And the audience votes by buying tickets and coming out and supporting something. So they obviously were interested and they were intrigued and they were invested. So what can you say? It was a success in that regard. Was it a artistic success to what I personally would have liked to have had? To me, no. To others, they may say, yeah, it was an artistic success because it was a success at the box office, which it was.
Right.
So that's hard to argue. I love it when people say, "Oh, nobody wants to see this," but yet you set you set records and continue to grow, but yet people, it's horrible. I think that the most outspoken usually are negative, and in this case, I was close to it and felt, from a creative standpoint, I wasn't crazy about it, but at the same time, I understood it, and we got on board, tried to make it all we could. But again, hindsight being 2020, it doesn't hold up. Doesn't hold up at all. But there's a lot. You look back, people look back at the Attitude Era, the glory years. Oh my God, this was the greatest stuff. Go back and watch it. Some of those shows were rotten. But it was considered, that the glory years, and this is tremendous.
Let's do a few questions here. Michael Thomas wants to know, was Rock and Triple H not trusted as a WrestleMania main event that could draw at this time? Their rivalry was very underrated.
Well, I think the idea was to get more star power in the main event. I agree with you. I think it was underrated, and I think that Rock and Triple H could have carried it with the main event. There was interest there. There was that rivalry that people could feel and were identifying with. So I think the feeling was just load it up.
Loaded up indeed. Here's a question from Instagram, a wrestling historian. This is a great one. Stone Cold versus Big Show is the original main event for WrestleMania 2000. True or false? Now, of course, we know Stone Cold's injured, so he's not here. Had he been able to pull it together, could that have been it?
Yeah, that was false.
What would it have been if Stone Cold could go? Do you recall?
I think it probably would have been Steve and Triple H. But they've had that Big Show. Big Show still needed time to get over. Putting Big Show in there was a push too. That was a rush. Putting Big Show in that scenario. So the feeling was, Big Show debuted February, and
of the prior year.
Yeah. And the idea was keep building him, and probably 2 or 3 years get to that, but wanting to build him as a monster. And that was the idea way back when.
Dave McClay says, why was this WrestleMania the one to finally have a heel come out on top as champion? That's a great question from Dave. Shout out to him, because I think this is the first time we saw it where a heel still left as champ. We would see it again, but everybody went home happy before this, I think.
Yeah, usually. I just think it was, a difference. It was a different feel. You still left happy with Rock,
yes,
at the end.
Yes.
So that still occurred, but just, changing times.
Ben Ledbetter says, where did Paul Bearer purchase his red blazer?
At the Red Blazer store. God.
Oh, I thought there was an RS for that.
No.
Oh,
Just
I
the
got
Red Blazer store.
Oh,
Same place. You go full Conrad.
same place where I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
The hoodie thing. Yeah. Which they don't have in my size.
JM Wagner wants to know, does Bruce refer to this as WrestleMania 2000 or does he still call it WrestleMania 16?
It's crazy. I like the numbers, but I do refer to this as WrestleMania 2000. Don't ask me why. Just because that was the name of it. And that was an attempt to get away from the numbers. But I think everybody really liked the numbers going forward. And then you look at WrestleMania 17, it wasn't Roman numerals. It was just the 17.
Yeah.
So
X7, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it was X8.
No, X8. I think 17 was 17, right? I don't know.
Who fucking knows? Michael McClanahan over from adfreeshows.com says, after the street fight at the Royal Rumble, was there any consideration to have Triple H and Mick Foley main event WrestleMania in a singles match?
No, because Mick was gone.
And then he
was retired.
Drew Landry says, when I think of WrestleMania 2000, the tag team ladder match and the triple threat IC/Euro match come to mind and not the main event. When something like that happens, is that an overperformance by the undercard, an underperformance by the main event, or a little bit of both?
I think it's a variety show. And I think that, different folks have different preferences. So if you enjoyed those, awesome. If you didn't enjoy the last match, okay. But you got a little bit of everything all night long. So that's what the show is meant to do.
Adam Arpin says, it's been said time and time again that you figure out what you want for the next WrestleMania and go backwards from there. If that's true, coming out of WrestleMania 15, what were the plans for Austin at WrestleMania 2000? Would it have been he and Triple H headlining, or would we have gotten Austin Rock Part 2 a year earlier? You sort of said that you thought for sure it was going to be Hunter. And I assume if it was Hunter, if Austin was ready to go, Austin wins, right?
Maybe.
Was there instead of Hogan must pose, if we go forward a generation, we're out of the golden era and we're into the attitude era now, is that Austin must drink?
Probably so.
I mean, legitimately.
Look, if it works, yeah. I mean, especially in live events, yeah, definitely. So you got to celebrate.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.